Have you ever stopped to think about why things happen? I mean, really, why? From something tiny like why your toast burned to huge global events, everything is connected. Today, we're going to dig into how to see those connections using a really simple but super powerful tool, cause and effect.
So why does anything happen? It's a massive question, right? It sounds like something a philosopher would ask, but the answer, a lot of the time, comes down to a pretty straightforward process. You just have to find the cause and then follow the effects. By the end of this, you're going to have this new way of looking at things, and I promise you'll start seeing these connections absolutely everywhere.
All right, ready to get started? Here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basics. What even is cause and effect? Then, we'll put on our detective hats and learn how to find the signal words. After that, we'll explore the whole domino effect, put your new skills to the test, and wrap up by talking about why this is such a crucial skill to have.
Okay, let's dive right in. What is cause and effect? At its core, it's all about the why and the what happened.
So let's break this down. It's actually really simple. The cause is the why. It's the reason something happens, the trigger. The effect? Well, that's the what happened. It's the result, the consequence, the outcome. That's it, cause and effect. And getting this basic distinction down is the key to, well, everything else we're going to talk about. Let's look at an example we've all lived through. Okay, so you decided to stay up way too late last night. That's the cause. And the effect? The next morning, you are just so tired. See? A very clear connection. The action of staying up late directly led to the consequence of being exhausted.
All right, next up, finding the signal words. Think of these as little clues that writers and speakers leave behind for us.
These words right here, they're your cheat sheet. When you see words like because or due to, they're basically pointing a giant arrow back to the cause. And when you see words like consequently or as a result of, they're shining a spotlight on the effect. If you keep an eye out for these, you'll spot these relationships in no time. Let's see a few in action. So here, the extreme cold is our cause, and the signal word resulted in points us right to the effect. All the waterfalls froze solid. See how that works? Here's another one. Due to tells us what the cause is, in this case, carelessness. And the result of that carelessness, polluted rivers and lakes, a direct link.
Because. This is probably the most common one you'll see. It's super clear. The cause, he was late. The effect, he had to sit in the office. Simple as that.
And here, the word since points us to the reason, the cause. Since there weren't any safe places to skate, cities did something about it. The effect was that they built skate parks. It's a logical solution to a problem.
Now, for a more intense one, the pick snapped. That's a serious cause, and our signal word, consequently, shows us the immediate effect. He had to switch up his plan and use other equipment. You can see how important these words are for following a story.
Okay, now things get really interesting. Let's talk about the domino effect, which is all about how just one cause can create a whole chain of events.
We call this a cause and effect chain. It's when the effect of one thing becomes the cause of the next thing, which in turn causes another thing, and so on and so on. It's exactly like knocking over that first domino.
And this is a perfect example of that domino effect. Look, it all starts with one small decision. You decide not to get up. That's the initial cause. But then you oversleep and miss the bus. Because you missed the bus, you need a tardy slip. And because you got a tardy slip, you wind up in detention. It's this perfect chain reaction, all from one little choice. All right, you've got the basics down. You know about signal words, you know about chain reactions. Now it's time for analyzing the connections. Let's put your new skills to the test.
Okay, have a look at this passage. It's talking about how stormwater runoff pollutes streams. So when it rains or snow melts, the water runs off the streets and it carries trash and pollutants with it right into our waterways. The effects are pretty awful. Animals can choke, fish get poisoned, and bacteria creates health hazards.
So, my question for you is this. According to the passage, which one of these is not an effect of water pollution? Is it A, B, C, or D? Take a second and think about it.
Did you get it? The correct answer is C. The rain and snow runoff isn't an effect of pollution. It's the cause. It's the very thing that starts the whole messy chain of events. All the other options, the bacteria, the choking animals, the poisoned fish, those are all the terrible effects. This is a perfect example of why telling the difference is so incredibly important to understanding any problem. So let's wrap this all up. Why does this skill matter? Well, because it's about seeing the connections that are hidden all around us. So what have we learned? Let's recap.
First, cause and effect is all about understanding how events are related. Second, those signal words are your best friends for tracking these relationships. Third, remember that one little cause can trigger a whole domino chain of effects. And finally, finding that first cause is the real key to understanding the whole story.
So here's the big takeaway. Find the cause. Understand the effect. See the world differently. I mean it. From now on, when you're reading an article or watching the news or even just making a decision, try to find the connections. When you start to see the why behind the what, you don't just understand the world better, you're empowered to make better choices and create the effects you actually want to see.